I mean, as a kid, I just wanted to be better than everybody at like sports at least. It's just once I got competitive, I wanted to show that if you could do it, I could do it better. Got into League through a mutual friend on a Minecraft server. It was actually the server owner. And I think once I started playing League, I realized that I wanted to show that on here as well. About like half a year to a year into playing League is when I realized I wanted to play mid. It was mostly from watching people like Faker. It was just like sort of the role that has like the most attention, like people are watching it. It's the most carry oriented role. Back then at least, it was like extremely carry oriented, and like if you were good enough, you could 1v9 any game. But I didn't do that until about like, I'd say gold level, but I started in bronze 5. So like back then I was a top lane main and I played stuff like Garen and Teemo, and eventually I realized I wanted to play mid, and I just played back then Kha'Zix mid, a lot of Gragas, and I really enjoyed it, and it pushed me more into being like, wow, I can be really good at this game. I'm just gonna keep grinding and see where I can go with it. I just wanted to prove to myself that I could be, at least at the time, the best on the server, and I just kept grinding and grinding, and eventually I hit rank 1 twice, and this just proved to myself that like as long as I'm disciplined and as long as I have the right mindset going into things, I can win versus pretty much anybody. So I joined TLA in early 2018, or actually a little before 2018. So it was 2017 in like, I think December. So leading into 2018, I was really high rated on the ladder, and I had some friends that were also pretty high rated on the ladder that we just knew each other. Eventually Academy got, or like the league got franchised, and then we were like, okay, we can play Academy. And we kind of went in as like a package deal, like a team. We were like, okay, we want to play together on any team. And we just waited for the, I guess, not the best offer, but the best org to play on, because we wanted to be surrounded by like a good environment as well. And that ended up being Team Liquid. The first split I wasn't able to play because they had to keep Mickey, because he was on their LCS roster, and they got Pobelter, so then Mickey just gets moved on to Academy. So I got kind of like screwed over in a way. Not necessarily, because I think I took the free time that I had after or beforehand going into the summer split kind of well, and I just played a lot of SoloQ, and I got even higher rated on the ladder. That experience sort of shaped how my, I guess, thought process on how teams would be ran for the future. And obviously it's going to be different from every team, but like I don't think there was ever a bad moment from the org for me. Going from TLA to IMTA, it wasn't like a decision that I had made previously that like I wanted to go for. Not to say it was like a bad decision or anything, but like at the end I didn't know what TLA initially wanted from me, because I wasn't getting that information right away. And then by the time I actually just outwardly asked like, okay, what are your plans? I want to know, like, full transparency. And then I was told that I wasn't like going to be playing there next year because they were looking at other options, and I was like, okay, thank you. I wasn't going to give up because I knew it was like sort of just an unlucky situation for me, and I wasn't not confident. I was like really confident in my abilities still. So to me, it was a little disappointing to not be on a team, but I was also okay with it because I could still focus on myself and keep grinding. But their mid laner here at IMT Academy that year, or that at that time, decided he wanted to go back to Europe, and a spot opened up, and then I took it, played here for a little bit. We had a really good start, and then things just kind of went downhill because we started making roster swaps for the main team, and it was just a whole fiasco. And I wanted to play with the roster that I was playing with Academy, because I thought that since we were already practicing together, it would be way better for everybody involved if we just stuck together, right? And eventually we all got moved up together again, and once I made my debut, I had a couple mistakes. Like, it ended up being very costly for the game, but I think that playing those games gave me a lot of confidence and experience that helped me grow into the player that I am now, and will help me continue to grow. My outlook on this squad would have been pretty positive. I think that this like now that we're on the second split, I am feeling pretty confident, even though we have lost some games that maybe were unfortunate and were in our favor at some point during the game. I think that the fact that we showed that we can compete against the sort of top end of the teams just goes to show how much like our effort and our hard work is putting in for us. And if we do continue to make improvements, that we will actually be able to take games cleanly off these teams. We are just taking it one game at a time. We're not thinking about Worlds yet. Obviously, it is what everybody wants, but I don't think it is a healthy mindset for us as players right now to be thinking about that. I think that if we want to make Worlds at all, or even compete at Worlds, we have to take it one game at a time. We have to have a growth mindset, and we have to be really focused on all the minute details that we are doing wrong, not only in scrims, but especially on stage, because on stage we show more of our good side, and the weaknesses that do keep us back show a little bit more or more consistently on stage. So I just think that obviously, even though we want to go to Worlds, I think that if we focus well enough on the games ahead of us and just keep improving after every game, if we do make Worlds, we'll have a good showing. I mean, I guess the advice that I would give to these players that are upcoming and want to actually like, you know, commit to LCS or try to get LCS, it's going to be a little harsh, but I think that the gap is big, and that doesn't have to mean that it's a bad thing. If you are good enough and you're actually like worthy of being on a team, like you will have to show what you're worth by yourself. Even if like the surrounding pieces or your environment is bad, things can go wrong and not go your way, but you have to keep pushing through. It's just part of the lifestyle. Things aren't always going to go your way, and part of it is luck, but once you get lucky enough to find the opportunity, you have to seize it, and you have to commit to it and use it well and not get complacent.